Hey guys, welcome to Moving to Maryland. Today we're going to talk about a fantastic neighborhood that I live in, Canton, which is in the waterfront in Baltimore. I have Grace, Megan, and Nick with us today. How's everything going, guys?
Hey, it's great.
Awesome.
Good morning.
And so we split it up by height. Grace and I are both short, so we're sitting over here, and these two are both retired basketball players.
I'm still unretired.
So city living. Let's get into this. So I've lived in Canton for a number of years, and the last house we had, I had neighbors. They were grandparents. They had their grandkids over often, and I never saw them in the parks. I never saw them out anywhere. They could have lived anywhere, right? Like the walkability that we all love and access to everything. And then I had my neighbors on the right side, Steve and Jerry. They went to the Ravens games. They went to Orioles games. They went to. You saw them out everywhere. They were in the parks. They were taking walks. Right. They were just really loving that city lifestyle. Okay. And I was thinking about, how I kept my wife in the city when she wanted to leave and move to the county. And we found this house that was a guy called us to list it, and then I wanted to take her and show it to her. Make a long story short, we got another house in Canton, and our lifestyle is so amazing. We use the promenade often.
Oh, right.
Promenade's talked about a lot. We take the promenade to the playgrounds, to the restaurants, to the dog parks, to the parks. It is such a great way for us to get around Canton and into the other neighborhoods. You guys use the promenade?
Well, and it's beautiful. I mean, the whole walk is along the harbor.
Right.
So it's just like a gorgeous view no matter what time of year it is.
It's the best way to see Baltimore, and it's also nice to know that you're not stuck in just one neighborhood. You can really just take a quick 5-minute walk down to really just see different neighborhoods and restaurants and things like that.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, it's full of people walking their dogs, running, watching sunsets and sunrises over there is great. And it's easy way, like I said, to get to. And, the waterfront park throws all these festivals. So all you have to do is just walk there, for like things like First Thursdays and all that
WTB's
kind of stuff.
First Thursday concert.
Right, yeah.
I mean, we were the main sponsor of that for 3 years. And what an awesome event.
Yeah, it's a great way to get to know your neighbors and local vendors, restaurants. There's breweries, distilleries. It's really an awesome way to just really know your neighborhood.
It's a great highlight for, I think, what the neighborhood has to offer, because not only do you have things like First Thursdays, there's always events and festivals going on both there and in Patterson Park, even throughout the neighborhood. And I think that's what really makes it attractive for a lot of people is that there's so many great things for people to do any time of year, really, which is great.
Yeah,
really.
Yeah, so Patterson Park's the northern border of our neighborhood, Canton. And what a great border, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I spend most of my time at Patterson Park playing volleyball. I have a local who I've made friends with. It's called Volleyball in Patterson, or VIP. It's definitely competitive grass league, but we've kind of made friends from what we used to play.
So is that separate from Volo?
It is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so a bunch of friends that I made from Volo wanted a little bit more of a competitive volleyball game, and so they developed that Volleyball in Patterson, which is cool.
So you're now like the soccer leagues where it's just like they're not like competitive enough.
And but I still play Volo. I mean,
yeah,
absolutely.
I was 4-time intramural volleyball champion in college.
What grade?
College.
What grade?
College. Okay.
Yes, yeah. I did go to college.
Awesome.
Thank you.
No, but I still do Volo. I mean, it's great. We play in the soccer park in Dew Burns. We play at Dew Burns, in the inside turf court, and you just play for winter. I mean, it's awesome.
That's the thing about Patterson Park. There's so many neighborhoods that claim Patterson Park, right? Like
Yeah.
Point, we talk about Patterson Park. Canton, we talk about Butchers Hill, Patterson Park, Highland Town. All the neighborhoods, it's like their backyard.
Right.
Such a great green space for the city.
Well, and it's massive too. I mean, it's one of the biggest parks in the city, so I feel like everybody would really like to lay claim to it. But to the fact that it borders so many neighborhoods and it's so large and contains so much is a real gift for this part of Baltimore for sure.
So, your fiance is involved in Volo sports,
yeah,
right?
he's been doing the Volo volleyball for a while, and I think it's a lot of friends who we already had, but then it's also just a great way to meet new people. I think a lot of people moving to Baltimore definitely use those groups as a way to make friends. You can sign up as a free agent. You don't have to necessarily have a designated team. So,
and I mean, that's exactly how I started. I moved here 2 years ago. I knew nobody, but I love volleyball, and sports really connects everybody. I now have best friends who've just been at my wedding, and I've all met them from Volo.
Yeah,
So.
that's awesome.
Playing broom ball, Nick?
Broom ball? No, I'm not a witch.
There
No,
is a skating rink in Patterson
There
Park.
is, yeah.
It has very
There's
select
there's
hours.
kickball. Is there dodgeball too?
Oh, yeah.
There's
They
dodgeball,
get so
kickball,
Is there a broom ball
softball.
or?
I've never heard of it.
Maybe I made
Like
that up.
field hockey?
I don't know. I thought there was like a
on
kickball
ice,
with
are you
brooms, but
talking- oh,
No,
okay.
there's
Like,
cup. The one that
it's a
everyone
curling.
plays is the cup in hand. It's basically like a booze
yes.
league where you have to play kickball with
Right.
a drink in your hand.
Oh, okay.
So you have to catch with one hand,
Yeah.
pitch with one
Yeah,
hand.
it's actually really challenging.
Yeah, that's
It
the
is
most.
kind of
That's the most
stressful.
popular one because you get the kids in their 20s who want to have
were you
have
like
some
a
fun.
3-year MVP?
No, I never did it actually. I'm a basketball guy, so yeah, I never did cup and hand kickball.
Right.
Yeah, we did soccer and basketball, but basketball I've really
Does Volo do something on the ice rink in Patterson Park too?
I don't think they
I don't
do.
think- I
I
don't
think they
think
have
so.
a separate league for it, but the Volo is more along the lines of they like the social sports
Yeah.
because they're a nonprofit that gives back.
Right.
So you pay a little bit. It's like $80 to $90 to sign up, but all that money goes back to give kids free rec sports. So things like soccer, basketball.
Yeah.
So it's you pay a little bit more, but it's great that they give back to the communities rather than just making the money for themselves.
Yeah.
My life is so walkable in Canton, and so when you think about walkability, like where are your favorite places to walk to?
I mean, Promenade Park. I mean, I think, this kind of gets into, just like the amount of like bars and amazing
I was going to say,
restaurants.
I usually
Yeah,
walk
who do you
right
walk to?
to
Like,
the
yeah, I mean,
square.
not
I mean,
generally,
I play trivia every Tuesday at the
Yeah.
Canton
You
Local,
walk
which is
there.
I walk there.
Yeah.
Another place where I've met like a ton of my close friends. A lot of young professionals. I mean, our team is pretty stacked. We've got like 2 doctors,
Nice.
multiple engineers, photographers.
I think you have to break that team up. Performance enhancing.
Sometimes the more
else
cooks
do you
in
walk
the
to?
kitchen.
Yeah.
I walk it to the Waltz Inn.
The
At
ones that-
Waltz.
Oh,
I
oh,
love
for
it.
karaoke.
For
Oh, my God.
karaoke.
Wow.
Nice.
I was just there over the weekend. You guys missed it. I did a very good rendition of "Unwritten" by Natasha
Ooh.
Bedingfield.
Wonderful
Oh,
song.
wow.
That's my go-to karaoke
Go-to,
song.
okay.
That's my
Give us
go-to.
a little piece. No.
I don't think we have the copyright for that.
Oh, right.
I don't want this to get flagged.
Can't.
Yeah, but I mean, you can also just walk to like shops and stores, grocery
Oh, yeah.
stores. I
Yeah.
mean, we have like such a plethora.
Yeah.
We're sort of the
You can't go
opposite
wrong.
of a food
Yeah.
desert.
Right. So,
Yeah.
so I walk to Safeway.
Mhm.
I walk to the Canton Strip Shopping Center. I walk to the Brewers Hill, all the shops there.
Yeah.
4 days ago, we walked to the Gunther restaurant in
Love
The
Gunther.
best.
Brewers Hill.
Mm-hmm.
Safeway is across the street, so I walk to Safeway. I walk to work, not as much as I should. But,
And I think now that Alisana, the construction is cleared up, it just like makes it that much easier to walk
Yeah.
again.
The
Yeah.
promenade,
when you were living in Kent, where did you walk to? What are the things that when you think about walkability?
Yeah, I mean, the square, obviously, that's kind of the big draw for the neighborhood. I mean, it's a 2-block little square, full of, 12, 14 bar restaurants.
And like more of the nightlife.
Yeah, more than
there.
nightlife. When you're thinking like Friday and Saturday night or even like Sunday brunches, that's where you go. Southern Provisions was probably like one of my favorite go-tos.
Yeah.
They do live music on the weekends. You have like Nacho Mamas, which is just like an institution. When you think of places like Canton, that and Claddagh.
Mama's on the half shell.
Mama's on the half shell. Yeah, there's tons of places there. And then the one good part about Canton too is there's so many great little corner places. Like I live right down the street from this Vietnamese place called Pho Bac. They're awesome. It's a family-run joint. Mom cooks. The kids work in the front. You have Matthew's Pizza. There's the taqueria on Eastern, the Sabor del Parque, best tacos in
Yes,
Baltimore.
right.
It's a real
there's
fusion.
It's
the
a-
whole
their pharmacy.
neighborhood is fusion.
which pharmacy did I
In
use?
Canton, yeah.
I used the CVS and Target just because I could always just
Right.
do two
Yeah,
birds
then
with
there's
one
the
stone,
Rite Aid.
and then spend way too much money than I
Target.
in Target because I'm like, oh, I need like socks and to pick up my prescription, and then I'm like, oh, well, then here's $300 worth of more stuff
Yeah, it's
that
like,
I
here's
just
another
decided
set
that I
of
needed.
sheets.
You know,
I
So-
like the Safeway pharmacy actually.
Yeah, that's
it's
how I
a
get a
good
Safeway pharmacy. What about if you're not feeling good? Where do you go?
Oh, there's the
Depends.
urgent care right
Urgent
there,
care in the
which
Brew
actually
Factory.
is gorgeous if you've ever been inside.
Where's
It's a
that?
really nice
It's
facility.
gorgeous. It's like
What's gorgeous?
the urgent care.
Okay.
It's like the
The one
nicest
in the
one I've
Broom
seen.
Factory.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Which is right across the street from Target.
Yeah, that's
That's
where I go.
a good
Unless,
But, I mean,
And
You
it's
have
just walk
close.
in too. It's
Right.
it's sort of nice that they don't make appointments because I think sometimes appointments like jam things up.
Yeah.
You know,
They
and
can.
like then
Especially,
you just
you
walk
can't
in
plan
and they're
an
just like,
urgent-
30 minutes, and you're just like, okay, great.
Well, I mean, you can't always go to urgent care. You know, I mean, luckily we do have two really
right.
great,
Oh, you
two
mean
really
those
good
amazing
hospitals.
hospitals that
that
we
you
have
can.
in the city.
Right.
Yeah,
Johns
so
Hopkins,
you know,
of
well,
course.
Ron talks walkability. Well, technically,
University.
you could walk to two hospitals
Yeah,
if you really
that's
needed
right.
to. You know, you have Hopkins and then Hopkins Bayview are both always real close.
And
They're on
even some of
opposite
the
ends of the
satellite
neighborhood.
offices, like I use like a Mercy Physicians,
Yeah.
like right on Hudson.
Yeah, our pediatrician is in Canton Crossing in the tower over there. So,
Oh, yeah.
Oh, nice.
yeah, they have a lot of little satellite offices.
Yeah.
Like they have one
Oh,
in
in the
Lower
Care
East,
First building?
in the Care
Oh,
First
okay,
building.
got it.
Yeah,
okay.
I mean, Canton Crossing has everything. You got
Right, I
Crunch,
know,
you
you
got
really-
Merit Clubs, you've got Target, you've got
I'm
Harris
just getting
Teeter.
into the.
Nordstrom
I
Rack,
mean, you
Petco.
got everything.
It really does have a
Pizza
lot of.
Uno, which
Which-
Yeah,
I
okay,
thought
that's
I was
your
like,
new
oh my
spot.
god, like it's a chain place, and but yeah, good pizza.
Yeah.
No, it is. And then right
Chick-fil-A,
across, yeah,
Atwaters, and then right across the street you have Shake Shack,
Yeah.
Kava.
all the new
Right.
stuff.
Just
coming
waste,
in.
just
Oh,
spending
what is
my
it?
money.
Dog Social now, or Bark
Bark
Social?
Social.
Excuse
Yeah.
me.
Bark Social,
Yeah.
yeah, which is awesome. Still haven't taken my dog there yet, but I've heard people
It's like a where you have like a membership to
Mhm.
like bring your dog.
it's a bar dog park.
I was
So
gonna say
right-
it's a
right
bougie
across-
dog park.
Conklin Street is Brewers Hill,
Mm-hmm.
and they have in the last like 10 years they've built like 1,200 apartments.
I
Yeah.
know.
Oh, yeah,
It's
a lot of
insane.
And all
construction.
those really nice new townhomes as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a great way. The
Development.
apartments are a great way for people to try out the area,
Mhm.
and they get the same
Right.
walkability. I mean, it's just Brewers Hill is just a block
If
away
anything,
from.
it's a better location to especially like shopping than being in the neighborhoods. You walk out your front door, it's all right
Right.
there.
Well,
well,
downstairs.
we can argue that if you want to. Okay. I mean, it's better for
Or grab a tape measure.
the Pasquale's. I mean,
Yeah.
which is right there, right? Like
That's
they
true.
moved down from Highlandtown into
Yeah.
Brewers Hill.
I think like going back to the apartments and like it's a great way to test out the city. I mean, I think when people are moving here, depending on what job they're moving for, sometimes they are commuting out of the city.
Yeah.
And I mean, being in Canton or Brewers Hill, you're right next to 95 and
Yep.
895.
Yeah.
I think 895 is pretty nice if you're going south. 95 if you're going north, which
Yeah.
syncs up with 695. So I mean, just
We're on the
Yeah.
cuff of the city.
yeah, it's
Yep.
it's really accessible.
It is.
So, that's one of the things about city living is we talk about walkability within Canton, but we're surrounded by Fells Point, Harbor East, Little Italy, Butchers Hill, Patterson Park, Highland Town, Brewers Hill, and all of those have like really great
Right.
places to walk to
Yeah.
or get to. Go north up 83, it's a 10-15 minute drive depending on how you get there. Cross over to Federal Hill, which seems like a marathon to get to. Like when you talk,
Yeah.
oh my god, I gotta go through the
Yeah,
tunnel.
how are the water taxis right now? Is the schedule like pretty regular?
Still
'Cause
pretty
that's
regular.
A good way to
Yeah,
come
that's
across
a great way
from
to
the
do
Canton
it.
Well, I was gonna say
waterfront to
15 minutes to
Yeah.
Federal Hill. You can take the water taxi and take an hour if you want, but it's too long over here.
Or you
Forget
You've
how
can
got
many
to
take
minutes
winter.
the tunnel
Yeah.
or go through the city.
I mean, as someone who commutes there regularly, it's 15 minutes through the tunnel, not in rush hour. And then it's about, I'd say, 20 going through the city.
Okay.
So, it's like, do you want to pay Easy Pass or you just want to sit through 5 minutes of more lights?
So you do
Waze
drive this
before you.
I use Google Maps,
yeah.
Make sure it's
Does
not
it tell you
backed
the
up.
traffic now?
It does, yeah,
Okay.
because Google, I guess, bought Waze, so they
Oh.
use their technology. Yeah,
okay,
so
got
it's
it.
a little fun tidbit. But yeah, the rush hour traffic is a little bit tougher if you're living on the other side of the city and like want to go to Canton. You're talking probably like 25-ish minutes. But the more you live in the city, the better routes you understand and
Right.
where
Yeah.
to take.
Oh, yeah.
You're very aware of the Orioles schedule too.
And the
Oh,
Ravens,
yeah.
the Ravens,
and the Ravens
Yeah.
schedules, yeah.
And you
I was
also know
actually-
exactly where to park.
Yep.
Because it's like, all right, this time of day, I know I can pull right in, and then others,
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
I went to the Ravens game on Sunday, and I was coming from Canton, and I was actually really impressed by how quick it went. Like, I think there was actually less traffic than some of the Orioles games that I'd gone to over the summer.
It was also like 20 degrees out on Sunday.
It was
so-
packed stadium. I think there was a giveaway that I missed out on, like some sort of hat.
So the surprising thing about when you're in Canton and say maybe you're driving to Southwest Baltimore, like Pigtown or Washington Village, a lot of times the quickest way is to actually go through the tunnels and come back around versus crossing the city.
Right.
You'll find most often that is the quickest way. It doesn't seem like it, right?
Oh, it's 100% the quickest way. Yeah, because you skip all the lights. You just right on the interstate and go through.
Yeah, unless there's a backup in the tunnel, which
happens quite a bit.
Yeah.
The other interesting thing when you're leaving our office here in Fells Point, you know, sometimes you know we're like right on the cuff of maybe it's the tunnel or maybe it's through the city, and it really depends on traffic.
Yeah, just
like,
always
it's different
check.
every day.
Yeah.
So like I think in the city you have to use Google Maps or Waze or something.
Yeah.
If you're going you know 15-20 minute drive and there's multiple ways to get there.
Especially if you're new, I think you know checking out maps first. But for me, you know, being in the city now, 8 years. You know, it's just like I check my watch. I'm like, okay, it's this time of day. I'm going this way.
Right.
You know, where it's like, it's this time of day. I'm going this way. You definitely do learn it. But it's great. You know, circling it all back. It's great actually having that option. You're like, oh, I'm not in a rush. You know, I can. You know, I can kind of go through the city. Where it's like, oh, I kind of in a rush to go get home.
A little bit better.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm just gonna go and zip through the tunnel and go through the other side. Yeah.
So let's talk about Canton real estate. There's alley streets where you can get like a 1-bedroom historic townhome that hadn't been renovated in 20 years or ever for like $150,000.
Yeah.
There's
that's possible.
waterfront townhomes that are
homes,
1.5 million.
Yeah.
Right? Everything in between.
How many parking spaces do you have, Ron? Like 7?
No, I wish. We have a 2-car garage and a 2-car parking pad.
Right.
And then in our little nook of a community, we have parking passes, so we can put 3 cars in the street.
Yeah, so 7. So
we're going
2
to start a
and
rental
3.
car
Yeah,
company.
right.
Yeah, say just start selling
then-
parking spaces for First Thursdays. Throwing $20 a pop.
So that was why my wife liked that house. She wanted to leave the city, and I had a friend that wanted to list his house, and it had all the parking. It had 4 bedrooms because we were hoping to have a baby. We got pregnant while we were under contract for that house, and so it had everything. And then it's the moorings. It's HOA community that's gated. One of the only gated little communities, which is great for kids and very light traffic coming through there. So we love it. It also puts us right on the promenade and creates that great access from the prom. I'm literally on the promenade every day, walking dogs, walking our kid, going to dinner. We use that promenade. Yeah,
I think like parking can be a big concern for people, especially people moving from out of the city or like a more suburban environment. And I mean, on the street that I live on Foster Avenue, we're across the street from a school, so that's like a whole 4 blocks where there are no houses. So like parking on my street is like incredibly easy. I would say compared to other parts of the city as well. Canton being just like a little bit bigger has much better like street parking options than Federal Hill certainly, and there aren't really any like rules about parking.
Well, because the good thing is there's no permits. Yeah, so you're unrestricted access to kind of park wherever you want, which is nice.
And if you can knock down a brick wall or a block wall in the back of your courtyard and put parking in and spend $4,000 to add $20,000 value to your house because you have parking and then have parking, that's a no-brainer project to do.
Yeah.
So we are real estate agents. We can help you if you are looking in Canton or any of the other neighborhoods around the city, as well as in the surrounding areas. There are, what I was getting into, there are a range of housing opportunities. You have condos, you have small townhomes, you have large townhomes, you have new builds that have garages and parking pads and things like that. There are parking. If you don't have parking, you park in the street. But there is housing. So if you need help, reach out to us. We all can help you. Grace actually talks to people when they first call in. Gets things figured out and connects you with the right person.
Awesome.
Anybody got anything else they want to say about Canton?
It's a great place to live. It really is. It really is. It really is. I really enjoyed my time there. I mean, it's a great place to be. It's
I love it.
Probably one of the best neighborhoods in Baltimore.
Yeah, I see myself.
We'd like to have you
for
back
a long
sometime soon.
time.
I might come back. Yeah, if you're gonna allow me.
We'll talk about it.
Okay.
All right, guys. Take care.
Thank you.